from Lake Mississippi to Big Green and everything in between. We're talking about what's happening in your hometown. This is Hometown Today on 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It is already a gorgeous day throughout Dodge County. A lot of sunshine as we make our way to a high of 72. And I don't think it's going to take us too long to get there. We are already sitting at 61. It is Thursday. Happy Thursday, everybody. We are on the launch pad for the weekend. Amy Hudson here with you in the Summerland Furniture Studios and also the Daily Dodge TV studios as we stream live at dailydodge.com. So please join us there so you can really be a part of Hometown Today. I'm still at a little bit of a high from our patio tour kickoff yesterday. It really was a beautiful afternoon at the Mayville Golf Course and the meeting place. And a big thank you again to owners Randy and Cassie for having us there. That wraparound deck that they have is absolutely amazing. And make sure that you are following Mayville Golf Course and the meeting place on Facebook and take some time to check out their website so you don't miss out on any updates that they have to share. And also so many great events coming up. And just in addition to learning about what they have happening there, MayvilleGolfCourse.com is your go-to place. And definitely join us for our next stop on our 2024 patio tour. This one, we will be lakeside, so another beautiful location for you to enjoy. On June 13th from 2 to 4, we will be at Sig's Lakeside Pub and Grill. So looking forward to stop number 2 on the 2024 patio tour. And we're out again tomorrow. This has been the best week ever. Big day tomorrow at the Beaver Dam Country Club. It's for the kids, the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon golf outing. And a sincere note of thanks to all of the teams that have signed up. It is our first year being all booked up with our golf team. So we're looking forward to that. And again, enjoying the beautiful day on the course. And you can hang out and join us for dinner, even if you are not golfing. We will be hosting a fish fry fundraiser for the kids. So this will be happening from 4 to 9 tomorrow at the Beaver Dam Country Club, of course. And they have cooked up, I guess the pun is intended, cooked up a delicious menu for us, a fish and chicken buffet that we'll be able to enjoy from 4 to 9 tomorrow. Fried fish, poor man's fish, baked haddock, fried and baked chicken, and lots of delicious sides. And it's only $25 per person, and $5 of that will go directly to the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. And I know Matt Heyer is excited about this. $4 rail old fashions. I've only had one old fashioned my entire life, so tomorrow might be the day for number 2. And there's more live music with Michael Roddy tomorrow from 7 to 10. So it will be a great time for a great cause. And if you would like to make reservations, you can still do that at 885-4106. But please know that walk-ins will also be welcome tomorrow to join us for that fish fry fundraiser for the kids, 4 to 9 at the Beaver Dam Country Club. We have a big show this morning on Hometown Today. I'm excited to launch into the conversation with our friends and neighbors from the Dodge County Historical Society. Patrick and Diane Lutz are here along with Kurt Sampson. We are going to talk about what will be happening at the Dodge County Historical Society as part of the upcoming Arts and Peony Festival. And there is a lot that will be happening at the Dodge County Historical Society with the Art of Storytelling and the Ghost Storytelling Festival, the lawn party that will be happening on Saturday, June 8th. So we will get all of those details in just a few minutes here on Hometown Today, which is presented by Professional Floor Covering, Your Floor, and so much more, and brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful, historic downtown Beaver Dam. This is Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Randy from Professional Floor Covering, making sure you don't miss what's happening in your hometown. It's Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Hometown Today, presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more, and brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful, historic downtown Beaver Dam. Amy Hudson here with you. We are live in the Slumberland Furniture Studios and also the Daily Dodge TV studios, streaming live at dailydodge.com. We really are on the launch pad for a fun event season here in Beaver Dam, and one of those events is coming up super duper fast, the Art and Peony Festival, which has really just grown over the past few years. And today we are joined by our friends with the Dodge County Historical Society. We have Patrick and Diane Lutz with us, along with Kurt Sampson. Good morning.
Good morning.
Nice to be here.
Well, it's nice to have you here. Thank you for making the time to join us today, because we have a lot to talk about regarding what will be happening at the Dodge County Historical Society and what your team will be busy with as part of the upcoming Arts and Peony Festival. So it was so much fun having Kurt and just forgot your name.
Patrick?
Patrick with us a few weeks ago when we had a chance to really learn about the Dodge County Historical Society, the history with the building, and today we get to talk about big events that are going to be happening there, because you have a couple of them. The Ghost Storytelling Festival, which is set to happen on Friday, June 7th, and also the Lawn Party on Saturday, June 8th. So we're going to launch into it and get right to it. And Diane, we've had a chance to talk about your show and your involvement with Beaver Dam Area Community Theater. So I want to know from the get-go, and I'm sure your sweet husband here, brings you along for many things that the Dodge County Historical Society has happening. But how did you get involved with all of this? Is it just a family thing and a team effort?
Well, when Patrick and Kurt talked about having a ghost story festival, there are so many stories from the museum, incidents that the board members, other volunteers have experienced, and we thought it would be interesting and fun to have a play about all of those, about the building itself and the exhibits, the people from history of Beaver Dam. And so I contacted a friend of mine, actually Lori Brooks, who wrote the recent book for our musical we just did at Community Theater, and we commissioned her to write a play about things in the Dodge County Historical Society related to ghosts. And so she did that, and we performed that at our very first Ghost Story Festival 2 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Or 3 years ago now, yeah.
There's so much talent here. Just the fact that you could reach out and you had an idea and then you made it happen.
Right.
And there really is an art to storytelling. And so when you had just shared, how this came about, a couple of years ago, what was it like then taking your idea to both Patrick and Kurt and working together?
Well, I thought it went smoothly, and it was. It's interesting because it was about a 40-minute play, and we performed it on the stage with the Historical Society building in the background. But really, for the actors who participated, it was a lot of work for a one-night gig, and they suddenly realized, whoa, we're only going to do this once. And so we were hoping that with all that work and, with this great play that Lori had written, great because it connected right with the building, we were hoping that we would have an audience. And I remember saying to Patrick, if we have 50 people, it'll be a success.
Yeah.
And we had 300.
Oh, my goodness. Huge
so
success.
I'm pretty sure right around 300, wasn't it?
Right. And it was interesting because we had no clue. And, we did advertising and just because we weren't sure what people would think or what, how they would really in their minds, picture this and what their perceptions would be about it. And, as we got closer and closer to the time, we had some people there, some friends that we were pretty sure were going to come. Then all of a sudden it was just like a flow. People kept coming and coming and coming. And,
that is wonderful.
And it was just great. And just going back and just talking about the Peonies Festival in general, I mean, it's just a great connection with them because it's all about the arts and celebrating the arts. And when I think about Beaver Dam having its own arts district, even 5 years ago, nobody would have thought that there would have been anything like this.
No.
And when the sign first went up that designated the arts district, I think some people kind of laughed and thought, what's this all about? And now it's like, yes, it's here.
Yeah.
There's so many things going on with, Art on the Town and the Art Center and the community theater and Stephen Bennett, who's our, world-renowned artist, and then the community theater building, it's amazing what has done to help revitalize downtown Beaver Dam. And that's one of the things that we felt strongly about is we're kind of the icon in the center of town. Our building is known, all over Dodge County and really all over this part of the state because when it was built in 1890, people just couldn't believe it. I mean, that structure, and it was considered one of the largest public buildings in south central Wisconsin. But, and that goes to the ghost story, we get back to that, is we've been involved, and Kurt's been here quite a few years as well. And Kurt, how many years? Is it 15?
Going on 17.
17, all
Wow,
right.
Congratulations to you on that. That's
And
good.
being in that building at certain times of the day is interesting. I'll just say that.
Well, I really was getting goosebumps when you and Kurt were here not too long ago, and you were sharing some of those experiences that people have had.
Yeah, we all have stories, and we always have. We tell people we have the believers and the non-believers. But as far as the board, there's fewer and fewer non-believers now, because once you've been there for a while, you have your own story to tell, and we share those all the time. And we used to do that as a fun activity. We're real involved with at Christmas time with our. We tie it in with the parade that they have, or the Christmas parade, and. The fun thing that everybody looked forward to is we had our board Christmas party, and we would talk about all kinds of crazy things. And all of a sudden, everybody started telling ghost stories, and it was like that was the first time we all admitted that yes, we do have a story, because we just never talked about it much in general. But then that got to be the thing. Every year it would be, okay, we're gonna have the party in our building. Everybody's gone. And okay, now let's start talking about ghost stories. And everybody had to highlight their special stories they had. So I want Kurt to talk a little bit about some of the stories that he has, because he's there a lot more than anybody else. He's our curator, and he has stories, I think, weekly. And I just had one the other night when I walked in the building. I haven't even told Kurt about this yet.
Oh, my goodness.
yeah.
More goosebumps. Are you ready?
Yeah. The interesting thing about it is when I first came there about 16 and a half years ago, Mary Beth Jacobson was our curator at the time. And she started telling me about some of the things that were happening to her. And interestingly, once I stepped into the role as curator, nothing really happened to me for the first couple of years I was there.
Oh.
And then all of a sudden, one late afternoon, my daughter, Emma, who was with me, who had come up to work with me, because my parents live up in Oshkosh, so I brought her to work with me on a Saturday. And then we were just going to go from here up to Oshkosh to visit my parents. And the funny thing about it is that Emma and I are both pretty hard of hearing. And I should be wearing hearing aids, and Patrick always gives me a hard time about that. And I'm working on it, by the way. I'm working to get my hearing aids.
Diane and I are now going to follow up with you.
But
on that.
interestingly, the very first thing that ever happened to me was we were getting ready to leave the building, and it was we were there a little late, I would say. It was about 5 o'clock, and it was in February, and it was dark, and it had gotten dark. Cold, dark February night. And right before we were about to walk out the back door, my daughter and I very distinctly heard a woman's voice say something to us. And so much so that I kind of turned around, because my daughter was kind of sitting at a table behind me, working on some schoolwork. And she looked right at me and she said, "Daddy, did you hear that woman's voice?"
And how old was Emma at the time?
About 8 or 9,
Okay.
I want to say. And we very distinctly heard this voice. And I couldn't understand what it said, but we heard it. And I thought somebody was still in the building. It kind of came from out around the door of my office, out where the librarian desk used to sit. Mm-hmm. And I actually got up and walked out and was looking around. And I thought somebody was in the main part of the first floor. And nobody there.
Did you have a weird feeling in your stomach? Did you have goosebumps? What did that feel like?
Well, interestingly, what happens to me most often is that if I'm at the building and it's later in the evening, say about 7:30, 8 o'clock, the demeanor in that building changes. And, when you're there during the afternoon, it feels kind of light and just normal, and you don't even think about it really. But all of a sudden, there's a certain point in the evening where if you're there later, you can feel it kind of set in. And at first, I was like anybody, I was skeptical about it. I kind of blew it off. But there were a couple of times where it got really heavy in there. That's the only way I can describe it. Okay. Patrick sometimes likes to describe it as maybe it gets like the ceiling kind of raises. But to me, it feels like it gets like it's almost like coming in on you a little bit. And you get this feeling that you're not alone and that you need to leave.
Okay, that's unnerving.
And it is kind of creepy. And it's happened to me several times over the years. And most notably, the last time that really happened to me was last year, right after our Christmas party, after our Christmas open house.
Right.
And you two were actually there, the last people there besides me. And it was about 8:30, I want to say. And everybody else had mostly left. And I had a little bit of cleaning up to do in the building, picking up cups and cleaning out the coffee makers and things like that, because we had, put out some things for the public and stuff. And Patrick even looked at me and said, "Do you want us to stay?" And he was implying that, "Do you want me to stay
Yeah.
because something might happen?" And I was like, "Nah, just go, I'll be fine." Not more than 10 minutes after they left, it started. And I had about 15 minutes of cleaning to do, and I thought, "Oh man, here we go. Here it
Did you
comes."
stay or did you just leave at that point?
And you just get this feeling like it just, and the funny thing about it is when this happens now, I try to compose myself and I say to myself, okay, just take a deep breath. Is this really happening? Are you really feeling this strange feeling, And I've never made it more than about 5 or 10 minutes longer where I just absolutely had to leave the building.
Wow.
It just gets so
Heavy?
creepy and heavy. And there have been times where I've picked up the garbage, tied it up in bags, and put it up on some tables and just left it there, thinking, well, I'll come back and finish this tomorrow morning.
Time to go. You
In the
just
light
know
of
when you're
day.
done.
The light of day, yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a whole lot different.
As Kurt was saying, even yesterday, I'll just use an example of what a different feeling, because yesterday we spent time putting the stage up for the Ghost Story Festival, and it's right behind our building. And that's kind of how we decided where to put the stage when we decided to do this. We considered doing it in the building, but we thought, just never know how many people are going to be there. And we wanted to make it light, and so we just first advertised it, bring blankets and lawn chairs, and we just want to make it a family affair.
Yeah.
So yesterday we're putting the stage together, and we're in and out of the building, and just chatting and talking about what's going to be going on. And then last night, Diane was working with her cast for the play that they're going to be doing. A totally different feeling. And it was just like, it's almost like I'm in a different building during the day, and I come back at night. It just feels totally different.
Wow, that really brings an atmosphere of mystique for the Ghost Storytelling Festival. And that is part of what we're talking about here today on Hometown Today with our guests with the Dodge County Historical Society. Patrick, I remembered your name that time. Patrick and Diane Lutz with us, along with Kurt Sampson, the curator for the Dodge County Historical Society. Hometown Today presented in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful historic downtown Beaver Dam, and presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more. And we have so much more to talk about with our guests here today with the Dodge County Historical Society when Hometown Today continues here on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Get to Neighbor, this is Randy, owner of Professional Floor Covering, welcoming you back to Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Welcome back to Hometown Today here on your hometown station. Hometown Today presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more. And you do have a couple days left here in May, and that is important because the May Gold Take sale only happens during the month of May. And this is a huge deal because all of the flooring at Professional Floor Covering is on sale for you. So don't procrastinate any longer if you have flooring that you need to upgrade. If you have kitchen upgrades, now really is your time to go have that conversation with Randy and the team at Professional Floor Covering. Every carpet in the store on sale, and not just a couple of rolls for you to choose from. 40 rolls of in-stock carpet, and with your carpet purchase, you get a free carpet cushion. And if you are interested in finally doing some of those upgrades in your kitchen, know that it doesn't have to drain all of the money out of your checking account. You will be surprised to know that you can redo your kitchen for much less than you think. And they have such an amazing selection of countertops for you to choose from at Professional Floor Covering: quartz, granite, laminate, whatever it is you're hoping to have for that look in your home, you will find it at Professional Floor Covering, and a really nice selection of those stocking colors and the top brands that you know and trust too. And with your countertop purchase, you will get a free undermount sink, which is awesome. And have that conversation with Randy and the team, and talk about getting a free cabinet design and that quote, and just put it in motion during the May Gold Take sale of Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more at 713 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam. We have a big event that is set to happen here. The Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival will be happening June 7th through June 9th. A lot of different things as part of this. It was really nice to have Shannon Cooley, the tourism marketing manager with Beaver Dam Chamber of Commerce, with us here recently to talk about all of the different things that will be happening as a part of the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. And things will be happening at the Dodge County Historical Society. They will have a lawn party for us to enjoy on Saturday, June 8th, and the Ghost Story Festival on Friday, June 7th. And our guest this morning, Kurt Sampson, the curator for the Dodge County Historical Society, along with Patrick and Diane Lutz. And Patrick, you shared that the stage is going up for the Storytelling Festival, which is exciting. And we've been hearing about some creepy, cool experiences over the years at the Dodge County Historical Society. And you really have a nice event planned for folks coming up on Friday, June 7th, 7:30 to 9 is when the Ghost Storytelling Festival will be happening at the Dodge County Historical Society. And I see that you have some special guests that will be a part of
Sure, I can go through the lineup for the festival. We start off with stories from the museum.
Kind of like what you were sharing before, like weird happenings and experiences.
Exactly, and we thought we should do that this year because sometimes people say, well, why are you doing this festival in June? Why isn't it connected with Halloween?
Yeah, why, Patrick?
Well, I'll tell you. All right, because there are a number of people. Even Shannon asked us that at one time when she first got involved with the chamber. And there's so many things going on Halloween, and we wanted it to be outside. And you just never know. We've had Halloweens where we've had to wear winter coats.
Yeah, it's been snowing.
Yes, and we just thought people are not going to want to come and sit in lawn chairs with snow falling on their head, or just 20 degrees or sleet.
We save that for the holiday parade.
Right, yeah, that happens just about every year. Some kind of crazy weather. So we just thought, let's do it connected with the Peonies Festival.
Yeah.
And it's kind of become the kickoff Friday activity now. And like I said, mentioned earlier, we had no idea how many people would come originally. And we've been averaging 300 people, and we hope we'll have even more this year.
That's fantastic. Congratulations on the success of the event, because it is scary when you don't know what to expect. And, along with, other folks that are involved with the Dodge County Historical Society, or any event, you might think this is a great idea. People are going to love it. And then you just don't know until the day of. And you can do everything on the planet to get the word out, but you don't know. So thank you for taking a chance and making this such a great event for people to enjoy. And just like the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival, this is also growing.
Oh, yes. And I think we're going to have a lot more people from out of town this year. The word is spread. And the Chamber's done such a great job of getting the word out and passing on the information and finding different ways, social media and promoting it. And they've been promoting the Ghost Story Festival as well. And just getting back to the lineup,
Yeah.
we'll have 3 members from the Dodge County board who have had experiences,
Will you
and
be
they'll
one of them,
be
Kurt?
Kurt will be one, I will be one, and then Glenn Link, who was been involved for many years and a former president also of the Dodge County Historical Society board. And we're going to talk briefly about some of those experiences.
Okay.
We could go on for a long time, but we just want to introduce it and again explain why we're doing it. And we're so excited to, present our stories because they are very unique to the building and they're just so unusual. I mean, we have something happen every week. And I was just there the other night and opened the door and I had this kind of strange experience with this kind of like a shadow just kind of when I opened the door to let the people in for when they were rehearsing for Diane's play, there was this weird gray shadow that just kind of followed the opening of the door, and I thought, oh boy, here's another one. But I
You're
didn't say
there by
anything.
yourself?
He didn't say anything.
I
Thank
didn't
you,
say
Patrick.
anything to the Diane or the cast because I thought I am not going to freak them out. They've got work to do. So anyway, we'll tell.
Stay on task.
so
You don't
we'll-
mind the ghosts and the spirits.
Right. And they know a little bit about it, and they really don't like to leave the office where we do their rehearsing. And, unless I would turn on all the lights in the building, they just kind of want to stay in one spot. So anyway, we'll start with that, and I think that'll be fun for people to find out about it. And also I want to, during the segment, to have Kurt talk about this paranormal group that we've had a number of times come to the building.
Yeah,
So
we were
we'll-
talking about that a little bit off air. We do have to take a quick break, so we're
Okay.
going to launch
Yeah,
in
no problem.
to some of these specifics because, I try to do my best to stop myself from saying there's something for everyone. But when I look at, what we'll be able to enjoy on Friday, June 7th as part of the Ghost Storytelling Festival, there's going to be children's stories. There's going to be ghost ship stories, Midnight Intruder that you're going to be talking about, and Keepers of the Flame. So we're going to come back and share those details with our guests from the Dodge County Historical Society, Patrick and Diane Lutz with us today, along with Kurt Sampson, who is the curator at the Dodge County Historical Society. Get ready for Brewers baseball action. Whew, they pulled it off yesterday against the Cubbies. Brewers win 10-6. I was a little nervous there. Of course, they're continuing their series here at home, and the pregame show will hit the air for you here at 11:35, and the first pitch being tossed out at noon. We are heading over to the Daily Dodge News Center for a local news, sports, and weather update, and we'll kick it all off with an ABC News update here on Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It's Randy from Professional Floor Covering. You're listening to Hometown Today on the 5,000 watt flamethrower on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
No, it's not Halloween, of course, but we are talking about ghost stories and the upcoming Ghost Storytelling Festival that will be part of the upcoming Art and Peony Festival here in Beaver Dam. So mark your calendars, get ready to join the fun June 7th through June 9th, and definitely spend some time at the Dodge County Historical Society during that weekend, kicking off on Friday with the Art of Storytelling, the Ghost Storytelling Festival, June 7th, 7:30 to 9 p.m. Our guests today, Patrick and Diane Lutz and Kurt Sampson, who is the curator for the Dodge County Historical Society. And let's check off some of the basics. Diane, where will this be happening? Do folks have to up any cash for this? And I think we also wanted to mention the time again, but you can take it away.
Right, yes. It's the stage is located at the right behind the building, the Dodge County Historical Society building, which is at 105 Park Avenue. It's right down on Front Street. It's hard to miss because it's this beautiful old structure. It's free. We've got to emphasize that.
No cost for admission.
No
just
cost for
good
admission.
Free entertainment.
Right. Just bring your lawn chair, set it up. It starts the stories will start at 7:30.
Okay.
I would suggest people getting there a little bit earlier than that.
Yeah.
Over the years we've had people come in and set up lawn chairs and then go have dinner over at Palenque or somewhere. And
Yeah, you have to claim your spot.
Exactly. Oh, the nice thing is too that we'll have an area right in front of the stage roped off for when we have the children's ghost story. They can come forward, but no reservations are needed. No money, just a lot of fun at 105 Park Avenue, Beaver Dam.
Excellent. And that will start at 7:30. And it is important that folks probably mark off their sitting area prior, to 7:30 start. And when you mentioned, the children's story. Patrick, I know you wanted to share some of those details because you do have some presenters, some guests coming in.
And we have a couple of professional storytellers as well. We have a children's story, Ginny Hankus, who was a educator in Beaver Dam, and she worked with students for many, many years and had one of her favorites that they really enjoyed. So she'll be doing that. And then the next thing is the Ghost Ship Stories by David Drake, and he's a professional storyteller from Milwaukee and has been doing it for years. In fact, he just won an award from the Wisconsin Storytellers Association, and they had a meeting in Columbus just a few weeks ago, actually, and he received a state award. So that was a cool thing.
That is a really cool thing. And are these ghost ship stories that David will be sharing, from ships that were on our Great Lakes here in Wisconsin, or just,
In general,
Okay.
but he tells a really, really neat story about these ghost ships who, what happened when, in the early days of the United States is, literally thousands of ships were crossing the Atlantic trying to get to the New World. And occasionally what happened is that the crew and whoever else was on the ship with them, their passengers, they would all become ill with like typhoid fever or smallpox, and
it would wipe out
it would wipe out
everyone.
everybody, sometimes even the crew, and there'd be nobody left, and the ship would just float around out in the ocean for years.
That's creepy, just
Yeah.
like the thought of that
Right.
and the vision.
Yeah, and they had to put up a flag if there were ill people on the ship. But eventually, it would become a ragged flag. But then they'd see these in the night, the sailors, and it just really creeped him out. And so he's going to talk about that.
Okay,
And-
looking forward
It's
to
a
that.
family show.
Yeah, but then he has and he plays some music with it too, which is really neat. And accompanies himself
cool.
on a concertina, so that's going to be neat.
Absolutely.
And then Jessica Schultz, so this is her third year, and she's from the Hartford area, West Bend, that area, and she performs with the Hartford Community Theater, and she's great. She has hers all memorized, and just really lots of energy, and hers is called The Midnight Intruder, and each year she's done a new one. So, and I want to emphasize that these are all new stories. Nothing has been repeated. Each year we do something new. And then Diane's play, which she'll talk about as well, Keepers of the Flame, and that is a number of people that people will know from if they're in any way involved with the community theater, have seen the shows. There's three great performers who have been involved for many, many years, and I think people will be excited to see them in doing something a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
Would you like to talk about that, Diane?
Sure. Keepers of the Flame takes place on Rock Island, that little island beyond Washington Island off
Yeah.
of Door County, and the story is a couple who are going there camping. He's excited about it. She isn't, but they start to experience or she especially starts to experience some unusual things. Keepers of the Flame, actually, that's what Potawatomi means, and it's the Potawatomi Lighthouse. And lighthouse keepers were known as Keepers of the Flame because Rock Island and Washington Island, that passageway through there, it's called Death's Door.
Oh my gosh!
Because
I did not know that. I've been through that. We have friends that they have a nice cabin on Washington Island.
Oh, nice.
What's it called again?
Death's Door.
Death's Door. I don't know if I want to go back there now.
Well,
That happens to be the name of my favorite vodka as well. Just thought I'd throw that out.
Good, I'll make a note. Got it.
old fashions, vodka. What's
happening here on Hometown Today?
So that it's a radio drama, and that obviously it's like a Reader's Theater. It stars Gina Berg, Rick Ramirez, and Jim McMillan. As Patrick said, these are three actors who have been involved in community theater for 40 years.
Wow.
And everybody's familiar with them. They're very talented, and they were quick to jump on board. Actually, Gina and Jim were in the first two Ghost Story festivals, and I asked Rick if he would play a very important role in the Keepers of the Flame. So I think it'll be fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it's going to be really interesting.
Right, and it's going to be spooky, too, at the end. Patrick said, I just wanted, as we were preparing, and Patrick said, I just wanted it to be really scary at the end. So we've got some...
You said that, Patrick?
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's. I've sat through rehearsals, and I'm pretty scared at the end.
Oh my goodness, I like it. But, like, go out on a high, scary note.
Right, exactly. So
Oh, that
I'm
sounds
excited
great.
about it. It'll be fun,
It will
and
be
I
fun.
enjoy working with these people. They're very congenial, cooperative, and they have an excellent work ethic. They, you know, like we don't like to do things just sort of, we'll put it together. We want it to be top notch.
Absolutely.
So that's always been our MO for theater.
It's a good MO to have. This is going to be such a really cool event. We're talking today with our friends and neighbors with the Dodge County Historical Society, Diane and Patrick Lutz, Kurt Sampson, who is the curator, and the upcoming third annual Ghost Storytelling Festival, which will be a part of the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. The Ghost Storytelling Festival all set to happen on Friday, June 7th from 7:30 to 9. It is recommended that you get there early with your lawn chairs or your picnic blanket and claim your spot. A wonderful evening planned. Thank you to all the folks that are a part of planning the Ghost Storytelling Festival. Folks should know that this is a free event. They can just show up at the Dodge County Historical Society at 105 Park Avenue and get ready for some spine tingling, some goosebumps, all these great stories that will be shared, and kicking it off with stories from the museum. You had mentioned that 3 Dodge County Historical Society board members will be sharing their experiences, and off mic I had asked if you guys keep a journal, because all of these and they're recent stories. You know, Diane shared something off air about hearing like a loud bang, a loud crash, and they sent you, Patrick, to go check it out.
Right, yep.
And there was nothing, and you had an experience here just over the past few days. Kurt, you have multiple experiences. Start that journal and keep coming on Hometown Today to share those experiences. It's really great.
Yeah, Kurt is, like I said earlier, he's there most of the time. So I think Kurt should talk about our paranormal group that came to Beaver Dam 3 times. So go ahead.
Wow.
Yeah, and the interesting thing about the paranormal group, they're called Wisconsin Paranormal. They're from Menominee, Wisconsin, and they're head up by a medium named Howard. And the interesting thing about it is that when I first started having my experiences at the museum, I didn't seek them out. They sought us out of the blue.
How did they find you?
I don't
How did
know.
they
That's
hear
the weird
about
thing
it?
about it. They contacted us and they said, hey, we've heard that there's been some experiences in your building, and I don't know where they heard that from, or maybe it was posted on social media or something, but they reached out to us, and so we had them come, and they've come to the building 3 times. where we've had them come in and set up all their paranormal equipment. They have all the things that you see on TV, EVP recorders, motion sensing cameras, all these types of things. And they're a very serious group. They absolutely believe in what they're doing, and without a doubt. And so Patrick has stayed late in the afternoon a few times to allow them to come into the building. It takes them a couple hours to set up their equipment, and then we lock them in the building and until well after midnight, usually on a couple occasions.
And you guys just leave? You leave?
And we
Yes,
leave,
we
we
leave,
leave them
right.
in there so they can
Okay.
do their job, and they go around the building and look for paranormal activity. And over the years, they've caught some very interesting things. One of the more interesting things that they caught that I thought was pretty convincing was they caught a voice phenomenon over by our old 1903 Rambler car, which is in the first floor. And the voice simply that was recorded or captured was a man's voice that said something to the effect, "Where is Joni?" And if you know anything about the Dodge County Historic Society, for a long time we had a curator named Joanne Wells, who was a well-known woman in town here for many years. Her husband was a judge in Dodge County. And it's just interesting that, you catch a voice that from somebody of the past, that had been in that building for many, many years. A couple of the other hot spots are we seem to have a lot of activity that seems to be coming from underneath the balcony, where we have a lot of our displays that are about famous people and places and things in Beaver Dam. That's where the music that I've actually heard the ragtime music myself in that building late at night. And I don't know, the paranormal activity seems to be happening pretty much everywhere. It happens in the basement. It happens upstairs near the military exhibit in particular. And Patrick's had some interesting stories. Things happen to him in the basement.
Don't go in the basement, Patrick.
Yeah, there's one room down there that I
Stay out of
just
the basement.
steer away from. And I had an interesting experience last night. I'll just jump in quick. Then, Kurt, I want you to continue then. Because we were just talking just recently. We're going to have some friends over and watch a movie that was filmed in Beaver Dam called The Pit.
Okay.
And are you familiar with that, Amy?
No.
Okay, that would
gotta
be
get familiar
that
with
would
it.
be a whole show in
Okay.
itself, because there are still some people in Beaver Dam that were involved with that movie. That would be a
I'm
great.
gonna just Google that quick. You keep talking.
Okay, so we're setting it up, and these friends are going to come over, and we're going to watch the video, the DVD of The Pit. And last night, I was walking into the museum with the cast and Diane. I was just about ready to sit down, and I saw something on our bookshelf in our archives area, and it was the script of The Pit. And that's my thing, is lost and found, where I'll find things that I just can't believe that they're there, or I lost them a number of years ago. But why did I find that?
Why?
And it was
complete-
just sitting on top.
Yeah.
It wasn't like, I wonder what this is. But it was literally like walking over to this table and seeing this piece of paper and picking it up and saying, I wonder what this is. It was in a yellow paper folder.
And somebody had
And
donated.
Patrick said, this is the script to The Pit.
Yeah, and somebody had donated back
And
in
we've been
2004. and I don't
talking
know-
about it.
I don't know where it came from, Kurt, but
I don't either. I don't remember
You've
seeing
got to
that.
investigate that,
Yeah.
because where did the script?
yeah,
and
I
did
never,
you even know you
just
had
I'd
kind
it?
of
never seen it
appeared.
there before, and it shouldn't have been there because our archives are very
Somebody
well
wanted you to
organized.
find it.
And I picked it up, and there was a person's name on it. It must have been one of the characters in it, but it was the full script of The Pit.
Yeah.
Wow. And I did just do a quick Google search. It came up, the first site is Wisconsin Horror. And it's the very first line here. One of the weirdest horror films of the 1980s was filmed almost entirely in Beaver Dam. And then early on in the script, it describes it as being a combination of Grindhouse and after school special. So I want to see this. We're talking here this morning with our friends and neighbors with the Dodge County Historical Society, Patrick and Diane Lutz with us here this morning, along with curator Kurt Sampson. And get ready for the third annual Ghost Storytelling Storytelling Festival, which will be happening Friday, June 7th, 7:30 to 9. This is a free event for the whole family. Yep, there's going to be some children's stories shared too. Gina Hanks, is that how you pronounce Gina's?
Ginny.
Ginny, she'll be part of the guests for the evening, and really going to be a great time. It is free of charge. If you've never been to the Dodge County Historical Society, 105 Park Avenue is where you will find it. Gorgeous building, built in 1890. Diane, to your point, you can't miss it. We will continue our conversation with our guests, Diane and Patrick Lutz and Kurt Sampson, as Hometown Today continues here on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Getting to know your friends and neighbors, this is Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It is so nice to have a couple of days where we get to enjoy so much sunshine, warm up, and dry things out. We are on our way to a high of 72 today as we enjoy nothing but sunshine and more of the same tomorrow. And clouds are going to roll in Saturday and chances of rain throughout the weekend. So we're really going to embrace today and tomorrow. We are already at a high of 65 and really thankful for the beautiful day today and tomorrow because it's for the kids. Our Good Comer Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon for the Kids Golf Outing will be taking over the Beaver Dam Country Club tomorrow. We are really looking forward to the day and thankful to all the teams that have signed up. It's our first year being completely booked. And even if you're not participating in the golf, you can still come out and have fun and support the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. We have a fish fry fundraiser for the kids that will be happening from 4 to 9. All kinds of delicious fish and chicken for you on the buffet, along with a lot of great yummy sides. It's only $25 per person, and $5 of that will go directly to the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. $4 rail old fashions for folks to enjoy, and live music from Michael Roddy will be happening from 7 to 10. And walk-ins are welcome, so you can also still make those reservations at 885-4106. Our guests here this morning on Hometown Today, Patrick and Diane Lutz, and Kurt Sampson, the curator for the Dodge County Historical Society. We have the upcoming Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival, and a lot of cool things will be happening at the Dodge County Historical Society as part of the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. And Diane, you had mentioned at one point during the show this morning, Kurt, you had mentioned your favorite vodka. What was that? Death's Door.
Death's Door vodka.
And then you had mentioned the $4 old fashioned rails. And I was like, well, it's all part of our spirits discussion.
right.
That's what I was thinking when you had shared that, because
Spirits.
yeah, part of the fun during the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival will be the 3rd annual Ghost Story Telling Festival at the Dodge County Historical Society at 105 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam. This is happening on Friday, June 7th. So, yep, right around the corner from 7:30 to 9. And you really have pulled together such a wonderful evening for people to enjoy, with stories from the museum kicking off. You'll have 3 members of the Dodge County Historical Board sharing their real experiences, and some of them very, very recent. And Kurt, when you were talking about those visits from the paranormal investigators that reached out to you, any plan for them to return soon to the Dodge County Historical Society?
What was that?
Plans for them to return again sometime soon?
Possibly.
Okay.
Interestingly, after they came to see us a few times, the Horicon Historical Society also had them come to their building, which is
Okay.
definitely haunted. If any of
just
the
had
listeners
Lonnie
out there
on a few
are
weeks
familiar
ago.
with the Satterley Clark House, that place is definitely haunted. I can tell you that for sure. I've had experience in there as well. Really interesting experiences there. When we were doing archaeology digs in the backyard there, and then just visiting Lonnie Nye, who runs the museum there, and so yeah, they're very interested in coming back to see us again, and I think at some point we probably will have them come back and do some further investigation.
Okay, well, keep us posted on that. We are talking about the upcoming 3rd annual Ghost Storytelling Festival, June 7th, 7:30 to 9 o'clock at the Dodge County Historical Society at 105 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam. Free, fun event for everyone to come out and enjoy, part of the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. And big lawn party will also be happening on Saturday, June 8th at the Dodge County Historical Society. So looking forward to talking with you folks about that here this morning on Hometown Today, which is presented by Professional Floor Covering your floor and so much more, and brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful historic downtown Beaver Dam. It was nice to hear from Sandy at McKinstry's last week here on Hometown Today. They are never not busy at McKinstry's Home Furnishings, and what a fun job to unpack all of these boxes that they brought back from the High Point Furniture Market, which means that you have really cool things now to shop at McKinstry's Home Furnishings, because these items have been hand selected by the sales designers at McKinstry's, and really such a nice variety of things for you to shop and choose for your home. New pictures, art pieces, lamps and area rugs, dining room sets, living room groupings. It was really cool to hear Sandy talk about this fun piece. It's a vintage telephone booth. I know, telephone booth. It's a wine cabinet, handcrafted from iron, and will definitely be a conversation piece and add character to any room of the house. McKinstry's Home Furnishings celebrating 100 and 66 years in downtown Beaverton at 131 Front Street. Amy Hudson here with you in the Slumberland Furniture Studios and the Daily Dodge TV studios as we stream live at dailydodge.com. And looking forward to continuing our conversation with Patrick and Diane Lutz and Kurt Sampson with the Dodge County Historical Society as they get ready for a really fun weekend, some fun events, part of the upcoming Arts and Peony Festival here in Beaverton. This is Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It's time.
Hi, this is Randy, owner of Professional Floor Covering, and you're listening to Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Oh, we're making it next time.
You better. That voice right there is Patrick Lutz. He is one of our guests today, Patrick and Diane Lutz, along with Kurt Sampson, the curator for the Dodge County Historical Society, with us here today on Hometown Today, presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more, and brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful historic downtown Beaver Dam. Remember, Brewers, early game today, continuing their series against the Cubbies. They pulled off a win yesterday. I shouldn't say that like it's a big surprise, but I was a little worried. I also love the Chicago Cubbies. My first radio job was in Illinois, so I became a fan then and there way back in 1989. But the Brewers took the Cubs yesterday 10-6. Pre-game show hits the air here for you at 11:35 with the first pitch being tossed out at noon. This is such a gorgeous time of year with all the beautiful flowers popping. My peonies, finally, they're in that marshmallow stage, so they're just about to blossom. And you know, when you are looking for that perfect balance of color, Jean's Beaver Floral is a place that is guaranteed for you to always find that perfect balance, whether it's with flowers or plants. You want to maybe spruce up your dining room table for a special get-together or just any day of the week. You need a special gift or a pop of color to your home, Jean's Beaver Floral really will have the perfect plant or flower bouquet for you. They're located on Spring Street, just in downtown Beaver Dam, and you can visit Jean's for fresh flower arrangements. Those are available for you in an array of sizes, colors, and price points. And if you're looking for something to last a little bit longer, silk flower arrangements. Some of them look so very real and just beautiful and colorful. Those decorative landscape stones and wreaths are also available. And when it comes to planning a wedding, a big event, a party, really take the time to talk to Gene and his team, and they will help you pull those things together and cover off on all of those important details. They have been providing beautiful arrangements for several decades. For thoughtful giving, casual living, you can always turn to Jean's Beaver Floral, jeansbeaverfloral.com. And we can always turn to the Dodge County Historical Society for fun on Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival weekend, which will be kicking off on Friday, June 7th. We've talked a lot about the Ghost Storytelling Festival that will be happening June 7th, 7:30 to 9 p.m. That's a free, fun event for everyone, so please make some time to check that out. They have pulled together a really great program for us, all happening Friday, June 7th, 7:30 to 9 o'clock, right there at the Dodge County Historical Society, 105 Park Avenue. Stage started going up yesterday, and there's more happening that weekend. Good old-fashioned fun lawn party on Saturday, June 8th from 10 to 3. And I can't believe, well, I can believe because you guys, what was the word you used, Diane, to describe like when it comes to your play, like not stellar, but the expectation is always to be...
Right. The expectation that you don't do things just sort of halfway.
Yeah.
You put in a lot of effort, and you want to make it the best that you can.
Yeah, and as I look at what is planned for the lawn party on Saturday, June 8th, this is really going to be a great time with a lot of different things happening. And you have shared off air, Patrick, that you guys have been doing the lawn party for at least 20 years. So this is a tradition.
Easily 20 years, and for many years it was just us downtown. And now with the revitalization, we feel so connected with what's going on and so excited. And this morning I had breakfast with some friends, and one was a former resident of Beaver Dam who lives in Arizona now, and she's back visiting for the next 2 weeks. And she said, I can't believe it. She said, I feel this vibe in the downtown area, and very excited about the Historical Society, and of course that was the community library for so many years, and so many people talk about their great experiences there, and we're really celebrating our building and all the things that we're doing inside the building. Kurt's done a great job with spearheading, just reimagining, as that's what we're doing. We have a new logo, and we've done painting on the inside of our building and spruced it all up, and lots of new displays for people to see. So even if they have been there in the past, and they say, well, it's the same old stuff. Well, not really, because we always have new things that come in the door just about every week that we're surprised, and we think we've seen it all. And then somebody will come in and be like, oh my gosh, and we all have to stop and look at it and say, this is so cool that somebody brought it in. And we're celebrating new windows. We're celebrating the painting of the exterior of the building, and it's just fantastic what's happened in the last 4 or 5 years. And I mentioned, the revitalization of downtown, and we're so happy to be part of that, and that people are looking to us for interesting things. And that's why the lawn party is so much fun to talk about, because we've done some things for years, but we've added other things as well. One of the things I think people will really like is, and we've done this for many years, and we have to thank one of our board members, Glenn Link, for getting this started. We have free root beer floats.
We should have had free root beer floats on Hometown today.
Yes, that would have been great. And we could have added a little something extra to those, too.
Really keeping the spirits,
That's
just
right.
keeping mindful of the spirits. That's really generous.
So
Thank you to Glenn for that.
And it brings people in, and that's what we want. We don't want people just to stay outside, even though we have many great things there, but come into the building and see all the new things that we've done.
Yeah.
We have antique cars. One of our board members, Kathy Barnett, her husband, has a big collection of antique cars, and he's got a few new ones that he's excited to show. And those are going to be all around the building.
Oh, cool.
And even though we have the Ghost Story Festival, the next day, then we'll tuck in a whole bunch of cars around the building, which is fun.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that's a fun thing. And the next thing is flint napping, and I'm going to have Kurt talk about that.
Yeah, I have no idea what flint napping is, and I would like to kind of guess just based on.
I thought it was a name. Flint napping will be there on the lawn.
Well, one thing I'd also like to add.
Appearance by flint napping.
One thing I'd also like to add with the cars is we're also having for the first time an original. I think it's a 1923 original fire department truck.
Wow.
Yes, right. Yes.
That an individual in the community owns, and it's pretty much I've seen photos of it, and it looks like it's almost a mint condition, but it's a beautiful old fire engine. We'll have that. But back to flint napping. So Patrick knows how I like to talk about archaeology, because being an archaeologist, naturally I'd like to talk about archaeology.
That's good. It's good that
But
you do.
one of the things that we thought about doing this year was having some area collectors, artifact collectors in the county come and display some of their prehistoric artifacts that they've actually surface collected off of farm fields around the county.
Okay.
And so we've invited a few of those folks to come out to display their artifacts. And one of the individuals is also a flint napper. And what that is the process of turning a stone into a prehistoric artifact. So you take other harder types of stones, or maybe even an antler from a deer, and they work that stone to form a projectile point or an arrowhead or a scraping tool or some type of a prehistoric knife. So there'll be a demonstration or demonstrations throughout the day of that process of how ancient people created stone tools.
Wow,
That's
that
what it
will
is,
be
basically.
very
And
interesting.
one other thing I'd like to add is give a shout out to John Newman and his crew. They do a really great job of getting our lawn ready for not only the Ghost Story Festival, but for the lawn party as well, by making sure that the grass is cut and the bushes are trimmed and everything is looking really good. And this last week during the storms that we had a very large tree branch come off one of the back trees that actually landed partially on top of our stage. So we had to work to get that cleaned up, and Patrick and some other board members got our stage pretty much set up and ready to go yesterday. So I just wanted to mention that as well. John's also working on getting the historic fountain in our front yard ready to go, so that's up and running by next Saturday or Friday probably too.
Oh, how fun.
So,
Right.
Very nice.
Yep. So great things. We also have music. We try to have music every year, and we're having a group called The Characters, and they're from the Dodge County area, and they play a lot at different places. But we were lucky to get them because they have, I think, 2 other gigs that same day.
Oh, my goodness.
And when I called them, they said, well, we're really busy that weekend, and I was expecting them to say, well, we don't think we can do it. But one of them said, I've been in the Dodge County Historical Society. I talked to Kurt, and I looked around. I thought, this is a cool place. We are going to play.
Oh,
So,
fantastic.
yeah, so they'll be there from 1 to 3, and they do lots of 50s, 60s, 70s music.
Oh, that'll be
and it'll be
fun.
fun.
Yeah,
and so that'll be
absolutely.
great. And then the other thing is we have an antique popcorn wagon. Jack Rhodes, who is a area person who does restoration of all kinds of things, but he restores popcorn wagons. So he's bought wagons that were just well, one of them he told me a tree was basically on top of it or was growing through it, and it was almost broke it in half,
geez.
and he's restored it all. And we had it last year, and everybody thought it was great. So it's an actual antique popcorn wagon, totally restored, working order. He'll be selling popcorn and some other things, and so we're glad to have him as well.
Yeah, that'll
So-
be something to see, and I love the smell of freshly popped popcorn.
Right.
It's
So-
really nice.
And then caboose tours, another thing where we could have a whole show just on the caboose,
Yeah,
because
so-
that was an interesting addition that happened quite a few years ago, where there was a group of people that got together and said, you know, we have the depot, because the train used to go right past the museum and
Yeah.
the depot, and we had Wisconsin Southern, they came in and donated the rails and put the rails back in place because all the rails had been torn up.
It was really generous of them to do that.
Exactly, and then we had a fundraiser we purchased an actual caboose, and that ran on it was the same line that ran through Beaver Dam. It was called the Milwaukee Road. And the big question we always have is, why isn't it a red caboose? So those viewers out there that remember seeing them on the end of the train, they were always red.
Yeah.
Milwaukee Road, their color was orange.
Okay.
So they were the only one that had orange cabooses.
It's pretty cool, though. Odd one out.
Yeah, but it's been totally restored as well, and we've got a couple of people that will be there, and I'm going to just mention their names: Tom Wimmer and also Harold Moylan, who were involved with the restoration. And that was a thing that I think it 2 years at least, every Wednesday night, we had a group of people who volunteered to restore the whole thing.
Wow.
And it was all done by local volunteers.
How long did that take? So they would get
Yeah, it was-
together every Wednesday?
Yeah, every Wednesday night for, it was a
couple of years?
couple of years, and we had to strip it down. We were going to sandblast it and do all these, and we had people volunteer, but because of where it was, and at the time, it wasn't the police department next door, it was the YMCA.
Okay.
And we were very concerned about getting materials on cars that
Sure.
were parked there, and the same way was spray painting it, so we did everything by hand. And so we had people that stripped all the paint off of the lead paint. We had to do that in a special way.
wow.
And so that took many, many hours of volunteer work.
Yeah, labor of love.
Yes, it was. It was. And so that will be open from 10 to 3.
And we do have more that is part of the lawn party. We have to take another break
That's
quickly.
fine.
But looking forward to hearing more about what people can enjoy during the lawn party. And I'm just picturing, you guys doing everything by hand, restoring that caboose Wednesday evenings. And you mentioned lead paint, you're in the thick of it.
That's
right
right.
there. Patrick and Diane Lutz, along with Kurt Sampson, our guests here today with the Dodge County Historical Society, joining us on Hometown Today. A lot of fun will be had at the Dodge County Historical Society as part of the upcoming Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival on Friday, June 7th, the Ghost Storytelling Festival from 7:30 to 9, and the Lawn Party on Saturday, June 8th from 10 to 3. Free fun events for everyone to enjoy at 105 Park Avenue, and we'll continue our conversation with our guests as we can plan appropriately. It's going to be a big weekend on Friday, June 7th and Saturday, June 8th. Hometown Today brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful historic downtown Beaver Dam, and presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more. May almost over. I can't believe it. So your time to take advantage of huge savings during the May Gold Take sale is ticking away quickly. So head on over to 713 Park Avenue, have a conversation with Randy and the team about everything that is on sale. And everything is on sale. All of the flooring at Professional Floor Covering on sale as part of the May Gold Take sale. So that means every carpet in the store, every Abbey carpet, Stanton carpet, the wool carpet options. LVP is on sale for you. Also, along with real hardwood flooring, vinyl on sale, all of it. But you have to get going while the going is good, because May is almost over, and that's why it's the May Gold Take sale at Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more. This is Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It's Randy from Professional Floor Covering, bringing together friends and neighbors on Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Welcome back to Hometown Today, presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more, and brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful, historic downtown Beaver Dam. Amy Hudson here with you in the Slumberland Furniture Studios and the Daily Dodge TV studios, as we are streaming live this morning on dailydodge.com. I am just having one of those days where just rolling and then, we're just gonna give you like a mind block, Amy, but it's all good. Thank you for having my back. Our guests today, Patrick and Diane Lutz and Kurt Sampson with the Dodge County Historical Society. If you've never been, I have never been, I really want to go. And I think this is going to be my weekend here coming up, especially for the Ghost Storytelling Festival, Friday, June 7th, 7:30 to 9. If you've never been, 105 Park Avenue is your destination for the fun that will be had by all as part of the upcoming Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. So we have shared an awful lot about the Ghost Storytelling Festival on Friday, June 7th. It's your third annual. This will be happening from 7:30 until 9 p.m. It's a free fun event for the family. And then the fun continues with your lawn party on Saturday that you've been hosting for at least 20 years now. So the lawn party is set to happen at the Dodge County Historical Society on Saturday, June 8th from 10 to 3. Free root beer floats, really cool antique cars. We've learned about flip napping. The characters made time for you, and they're already busy packed day. That antique fire truck that you had mentioned, Kurt, from 1923, sounds like it will really be something to see, along with the antique popcorn wagon that has been fully restored. Will they be popping the popcorn in the wagon?
Yes, they will, right?
Yay.
Right.
And the caboose tours, which we were just talking about before we went to break, from 10 to 3. And for those train enthusiasts, for those little kids that are just enamored when they see a big train, this will really be something to see. And thank you for sharing all those details, Patrick, about really the labor of love that went into restoring the caboose, for you said a little over 2 years. You guys would get together Wednesday evenings.
Every Wednesday.
Work on that. And
It was interesting when it was delivered as well. You're talking about people, watching different things about the railroad, which many people do because it's pretty fascinating, the whole industry.
Yeah.
And with the caboose, there are many young people have never seen one, because we don't use those anymore. There's different ways that they are monitoring the cars, and that was what the caboose main reason for its existence was. It'd be at the end of the train, and it would monitor the cars and make sure that all the wheels were on the track. There was no problems with any of the cars. But also, that was the place where they would keep records of what train cars they were actually carrying on the train.
Oh, okay.
So it was all done with paperwork where they kept and determined where they're going to be dropping off the cars and which ones and that kind of thing. So the conductor sat in the caboose, and so it had a number of different things. People always asked, did they sleep in those? And some areas they did, but not in the Midwest because the towns are so close together. So we've got that, and we got a couple other things I want to mention as well.
Yeah.
I do a historic walking tour each year at 1 o'clock. So we start right in front of the museum, and that's free as well. And
Nice.
I talk about downtown Beaver Dam history, and I've been doing that since 1991.
Oh my goodness, I was 21 in 1991. It was a glorious year. Wow, that's a long time.
And it all started when we had the 150th anniversary of the sesquicentennial, and I had been involved a little bit with the museum, and they said, do you want to be on board and do a tour? And when I was in college, I gave tours of the campus where at UW Stout, where I went to school. And so I had some experience, but never as much as this. And so I really had to start doing my homework and learning a lot more about Beaver Dam because I was so worried people were going to ask questions I wouldn't be able to answer.
Oh, and they will
And
every
they-
time.
and still happens. Even though I've done these so many years, I can't know everything about every building, but I try to find things that are kind of general. So what I mean by that is that if people come to town and have never been to Beaver Dam before, it's not going to be so Beaver Dam specific that it only will be important for Beaver Dam people. I try to do the tour. So talking about any small town in Wisconsin, why did things happen the way they did in the downtown area?
Yeah.
And so I generally have anywhere between 15 to 20 people on the tour, but if we have more than that, that's fine.
You'll accommodate.
Right. So that's at 1 o'clock on the Saturday. And then we all have a psychic readings by Madame Adela. And
Adelia?
Kurt,
I'll see her, yeah.
yes, if you want to
So
talk
we have
about
a
that.
medium that is, this is the third year I think she's done it. And she is an intuitive healer. And we will be setting aside these, what we call in the museum the Swan Room, which was the original librarian office and partial living quarters initially way back in the 1890s. But we'll have her set up in there, and it's basically first come, first serve. And she will be there from, I believe it was 12 to about 3.
Okay.
And she'll do a psychic reading for you and tell you maybe some things you may or may not want to know. I don't know, but she'll give you some insight about your life, and it's always a fun time. So people come in for that as well.
Absolutely. And we have more to talk about. We do have to take another break, but more details to share about the upcoming lawn party on Saturday, June 8th, 10 to 3 at the Dodge County Historical Society at 105 Park Avenue. Definitely be a part of that. And also their third annual Ghost Storytelling Festival on Friday, June 7th, 7:30 to 9 o'clock. These are free events for everyone to come and enjoy. And we're looking forward to seeing you at the Dodge County Historical Society on Friday, June 7th and Saturday, June 8th. And we'll talk more with our guests, Patrick and Diane Lutz, along with Kurt Sampson, when Hometown Today continues here on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
Hi, it's Randy from Professional Floor Covering, bringing you Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.
It is a gorgeous sunny day in Beaver Dam and throughout Dodge County. 66 degrees, nothing but sunshine on our way to a high of 72. Soak it all in. Get ready for more of that tomorrow as we launch into the weekend with a high right around 76. We're hoping for great weather for next weekend for the Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival and all of the fun that we'll be able to have at the Dodge County Historical Society, kicking off on Friday with their third annual Ghost Storytelling Festival. That will be happening from 7:30 until 9 o'clock. Free fun event right there at the Dodge County Historical Society. They started putting up the stage yesterday. If you've never been, you can't miss this gorgeous building that was built in 1890. It's at 105 Park Avenue proper in Beaver Dam. And more fun for us on Saturday with their lawn party, which you're pretty sure you've been doing for at least 20 years now. The lawn party happening Saturday, June 8th from 10 to 3. Free root beer floats, cool antique cars to check out, antique popcorn wagon, caboose tours. Patrick, you were talking about the historic downtown walking tour that will get started at 1 o'clock. I don't want to assume, but I assume that starts right at the Dodge County Historical
Yes,
Society.
it does, right in front.
Okay.
And it's about a quarter of a mile, so people don't have to worry that it's going to be 2 or 3 miles we're walking. we call it the big block.
The big block?
And that's in the downtown area that's surrounded by Spring Street, Center Street, Front Street, and Mill.
Okay.
So that's the big block. But there's so much just in that area. I always go over. I always try to keep it to about an hour, but with questions, and I love questions about the different things, but always end up going over. And but people still enjoy it, and because there's so much to cover. I
Well,
mean,
and
like
to
I said, we
learn.
could talk about every building, but we don't. I mean, we just go through some of the highlights and some of the quirky things about the downtown area. Yeah.
Nice. We'll have to have you back just to talk about some of those quirky things
We
in the
could do
downtown
that.
area.
Right.
Psychic readings by Madame Adelia. Is that how you pronounce her name? Those are also free. And folks should, just know that this is a really popular part of the lawn party. So patience is the word of the day as, Madame Adelia will do her best to get to all those folks that are waiting in line. Noon to 3, you had shared, Kurt, that those psychic readings will be happening. And there's more.
Yes.
There's a horse demonstration.
Yes, we have a horse
And I say
demonstration.
that with a question because what does this mean? Tell us about the horse demonstration. Is it Kenzie Equestrian?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
Right. And they have been very nice about being involved over the years in different ways. And Steve Kinsey is one of our board members as well.
Okay.
But they're going to have one of their horses, and they're bringing it in. And it was kind of funny because a number of years ago, we had a harness racer, a
Oh,
lady
wow.
from Horicon.
Yeah,
who-
I've seen her in parades before. It's really something.
And she came and it was kind of a slow day. Things weren't really, people were just kind of scattered, but all of a sudden we had the horse and all these people came down the street then. And it seemed like from that time on, more people are coming across because what would happen is many years is people would stay on the big block. So they would stay on those streets I mentioned earlier in the chamber, and they were always kind of like, well, can we go in that building? And we want to welcome everybody, and that's why we have many more things out on the yard, so people will see. Yes, there's activity there, and a lot of
Yeah.
great things to see, and so they'll have one of their ponies there, and just there for children to see it, and they'll be talking about it and talking about their equestrian experiences. So we think that'll be fun too for the young children.
Yeah, absolutely. Anytime you have animals in the mix, especially horses and ponies, it's a magnet
Right.
for those kiddos. And we, want to make sure people know that this is free. It is free fun for families to come out and enjoy. And again, a sincere note of thanks to each of you and everyone who's a part of pulling these two events together, because there's a lot happening. And just hearing you, Patrick, talk about how you continue to add to the events, and not for the sake of just making it bigger, but everything that is planned for both the lawn party on Saturday from 10 to 3 and the Ghost Storytelling Festival on Friday from 7:30 to 9. All the elements have meaning.
They sure do, and we try to tie the things that we have outside with the inside. As Kurt talked about the flint knapping and the antique cars, we have the very first car that was ever delivered to Beaver Dam.
Was that the Rambler?
The Rambler,
Okay.
right. And I want to have Kurt talk about some of the cool new things that we have in the museum and things that, and there might be displays that we've had in the past, but have been upgraded. And that's the other thing we want to say is come into the building, because that's the only way you're going to get a free root beer float. Is you have to come
right.
inside.
Inside.
I see how you
Yes,
work.
and Diane has been doing those for years, so she's working, building up her muscles to dig that ice cream out of those
It
buckets.
takes a lot of
and
work. That's a lot of scooping.
A lot of scooping.
A lot of scooping, right.
Yeah.
So, Kurt?
Yeah, we go through a lot of ice cream for sure. Well, one of the things that was kind of an impetus, if you will, for us to redo a lot of the exhibits at the Historic Society was COVID, believe it or not. As horrible as COVID was, it actually gave us an opportunity to kind of shut down for a while and kind of re-envision and reimagine, how we were doing things in the museum. There were several displays that were quite old and antiquated that needed to be upgraded. And so at that point, we decided that along with the building restoration work that we were doing of restoring the ceilings, all the painting and everything that Patrick mentioned, we also decided to tear down several exhibits and rebuild them from the ground up, basically. And that included most of the first floor, especially underneath the balcony, where there were what I like to call little window boxes, which are actually the original woodwork frames of the bookshelves that were in the library when it was still a library up until 1985. And so we redid most of those exhibits that had to do with the famous happenings and people of Beaver Dam. And one of the things that, being a museum professional and coming in and seeing how things were done, the Dodge County Historic Society had never really had a professional museum curator before that had gone through a master's program that and taking a really critical eye about how they were displaying things and how we were doing that. And one of the things that was kind of lacking was a lot of text that would tie things together. It's easy to put a lot of things on display and just, throw them out there and people can kind of come in and look at things. But we needed to do a better job of how we were telling the story of the past of Beaver Dam in particular. So one of the things we did was to upgrade those exhibits by adding meaningful text to tie it all together, and then redoing a lot of those exhibits that hadn't been touched in several years in a more professional manner. One of the things that we recently completed that we talked about last time was the major overhaul of the military exhibit on the second floor. That was a complete tear down and redo. And one of the reasons we did that is because, again, we had a lot of stuff on display, but there wasn't really a lot of text that was kind of tying it all together and telling the story of the men and women of Beaver Dam that had participated in these various armed conflicts. And so we wanted to refocus it back on the community instead of making it kind of more of a general military exhibit. And so we had a lot of help with that with Jenny Harris, who is also a professional museum person who actually went through a graduate program in museum studies. And she did a wonderful job with that over the last nearly 2 years of working on that exhibit. So we're kind of doing that in all aspects of the building. We're constantly reevaluating the exhibits that we have to not only put new artifacts and interesting things that we might have in storage that people don't see for a long time, period of time that might be in storage. And so we're getting some of those artifacts out and redisplaying some things that, like I said, that hadn't maybe not been on display for some time. Our next focus right now is we have a large room in the basement that we call the Made in Beaver Dam room. That's what we've dubbed it, and Patrick is kind of leading the charge with that, where we have a lot of things that are in storage that were artifacts of the past that were actually made in Beaver Dam. Mm-hmm. And so we want to highlight that. So we're working to not only clean that room up, but to build shelving in there that's suitable for the artifacts that we have.
But we wanted to keep Patrick out of the basement because it's scary
Yes,
down there.
please.
Yeah, I only will spend half an hour at a time down in the basement.
Or Dean Tillema's down there with him, so he's not by
Absolutely.
himself. And so we're working. We're starting to do that project now that the focus of the military exhibit is done, and we're focusing on some other things. One of the amazing things about the building, though, is that building is an 1890 building, Victorian Romanesque building that really is the heart of the downtown. And thanks to people like Steve Hankus in the community, who's also one of our board members, and many other people, we've been able to restore that building back to its really almost its original glory. And one of the latest projects that we also did was to sand down and strip down the fire escape on the back of the building, which you wouldn't think would be that big of a deal, but it's a significant part of the back of the building that was kind of rusting, and so it was a huge project to strip that down and repaint it with special paint and make it kind of blend into the building more. So every week we're looking at different things to do to improve our situation and improve how we're telling the story of the history of the county and Beaver Dam in particular.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a gem. And just hearing throughout our conversation this morning, people that have been involved, and you've named a few different people, they've been involved doing this or that for many years. It's so nice to have that support, from people like that, and also to help get not just the word out, but to continue this for future generations to enjoy, because it's really important to know about the past. And looking forward to that room coming together in the basement, just focused on Made in Beaver Dam. That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been kind of a labor of love for all of us, and we always get together. Thursday's our big day, our big volunteer day, and so we work. We try to put in 2 hours, 3 hours. And then we have table time, and Diane laughs many times about
She's
this
laughing
because
right now. Table
right,
time.
table time, and some of board members come just for that.
Is it
because-
just a time to share?
just to
around the
share about
table?
what we're doing and what's happening around Beaver Dam, and just,
And gossip, I think.
maybe a little bit, just a
Ooh,
little
we
bit.
should have a show called Table Time.
Table time, right?
I like that. So you said that's Wednesday, your big volunteer day?
Thursday afternoon, and we just have a lot of fun, just talking about things in the past and ghosts sometimes as well. Like, what's the latest story about which ghost has been seen
Probably
now
have a
and
new one
where,
every
and
week.
just about. And and I never thought I'd ever really be a true believer. I just thought, oh, that's kind of fun. Who knows. But once you have a number of things happen that are just kind of, you can't explain them, and you're wondering, what just happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a little
Yeah,
unnerving.
it really is.
It's also unnerving that our show goes so fast. We're down to about 2 minutes left in Hometown today. And thank you again to each of you for being here. Patrick and Diane Lutz, along with Kurt Sampson, who is the curator at the Dodge County Historical Society. We are booking your calendar for Friday, June 7th, as they get set to entertain us with their third annual Ghost Storytelling Festival, 7:30 to 9 p.m. Entertain us, unnerve us a little bit, and it's just going to be creepy cool. Stories from the museum, children's story, ghost ship stories, Midnight Intruder, special play performance, Keepers of the Flame, with those stars that you had mentioned, Diane, from BDACT. 3 of them will be taking it to the stage that night. And there's more fun to be had on Saturday, June 8th, with their lawn party that we're pretty sure is at about the 20th annual, doing it at least 20 years,
At
if not
least
more.
20 years.
This will happen Saturday, June 8th from 10 to 3. Both the lawn party and the Ghost Storytelling Festival, free fun events happening at the Dodge County Historical Society at 105 Park Avenue in Beaver Dam. When you mention your volunteers getting together on Thursday and then having table time, do you need volunteers?
Oh, yeah, we're always looking
the door
for
open for
volunteers.
folks that would like to be
Yes,
a part?
and including students as well.
Okay.
One of the things that we do is we provide 2 scholarships, 2 $1,000 scholarships each year for the Beaver Dam High School. And we've had students come in, and if they do volunteer, they get some points for that through the high school scholarship program. and volunteer and possibly eligible for a scholarship as well.
Yeah,
So
it's really generous.
thank
Very
you.
nice.
Yes, and that's all just because of the the belief in Beaver Dam and what a wonderful community we have, and we're so glad to be sort of more of a part of it than we ever were in the past, and we really want to be connected. And I want to do some shout outs too, where Kurt mentioned John Newman from the city and all the things they do for us, and the chamber, and the whole Peonies Festival thing. There's so many people working on it, and so many great things that are happening, and it's just wonderful on those days. The Fall Fest, and we're part of that as well, and this whole Peonies weekend. It's just really neat, and it's really neat to show off our community, because we're getting more and more people from outside Beaver Dam.
Yeah, it's wonderful. And during my short time here, celebrating 6 years in Dodge County, I've seen that revitalization. When you had mentioned earlier, over the past 5 years, I really do have a love for historic downtowns, and we have a beautiful one here in Beaver Dam, and it's been really exciting to see the storefronts fill up, to see new events. Those annual events continue to grow. So I'm really thrilled for the Dodge County Historical Society to feel that connectiveness and to be a part of that downtown community and to keep doing what you're doing. Thank you.
Yes, and I want to thank Diane as well, because she's spearheaded a number of these shows for us. We wouldn't have had a complete slate of presenters without some of the things that she has done. So I want to thank her and all the people who have
Absolutely.
volunteered to be involved in the Ghost Story Festival as well.
It's a big weekend. Ghost Storytelling Festival, Friday, June 7th, 7:30 to 9, and the lawn party happening on Saturday, June 8th from 10 to 3 at 105 Park Avenue. That is where you will find the Dodge County Historical Society and these fun events, part of the upcoming Wisconsin Arts and Peony Festival. Thank you, Patrick and Diane Lutz, and thank you, Kurt Sampson. Appreciate you being here today.
And thank
It's a
you
lot of
for
fun.
all of your
Thanks.
support over
Yeah.
these years.
Always,
So-
definitely. Hometown Today presented by Professional Floor Covering, your floor, and so much more, and brought to you in part by McKinstry's Home Furnishings in beautiful historic downtown Beaver Dam. It is Thursday. I know it's been tough keeping the days straight, kicking off with the Memorial holiday on Monday, but it is Thursday, which means it's a Thirsty Beaver Thursday. You will find the Thirsty Beaver at 500 Madison Street in Beaver Dam, always online at thirstybeaverdd.com. And as always, music for you to enjoy all weekend long in the party yard. Kicking off tomorrow with the Dam Heathens from 7 to 11. Revolution Day performs for you on Saturday from 7 to 11. And on Sunday, the Sadie and Matt duo from 3 to 7. And please come out and join us at the Thirsty Beaver on Sunday, June 9th at 2 o'clock. A big meat raffle will be happening to benefit the Good Karma Brands John Moser Children's Radiothon. This has been Hometown Today, live in the Slumberland Furniture Studios and the Daily Dodge TV studios at dailydodge.com. Brewers playing early today as they continue their series against the Cubs. Pre-game show hits the air in not too long at 11:35, and the first pitch being tossed out at noon. And of course, we're hoping for another Brewers win over the Cubbies. This is Hometown Today on your hometown station, 95.3 WBEV, powered by Daily Dodge.